Hello everybody and welcome back to Expert Examiner IELTS. My name is Glyn and in this video we're going to do another IELTS writing check. Again, we have an IELTS writing task 2 academic essay, and as always we start by reading the question, rereading the question, making sure that we understand the question in full and then thinking about how we should approach this task. So let's take a look at this question. Mobile phones and the internet. Okay, mobile phones and the internet could have many benefits for older adults. However, this age group uses technology the least. Okay, so a bit of background information describing what is, according to this person, what is a reality, that mobile phones and the internet could have many benefits for older adults. However, this age group uses technology the least. Okay, so that's the background information. What are the benefits for older adults? What are the benefits for older adults of using mobile phones? There's a mistake in the question. Okay, what are the benefits? Let's just change that question. What are the benefits of older adults using mobile phones and the internet? Question 1. Let's highlight this. How can we encourage them? How can we encourage them to use this new technology? Question 2. So, you may have guessed that this is a two-part question. So we have background information, question 1, question 2. Great. So, how should we approach this task? Well, the structure is quite easy. We want introduction, then we want body paragraph 1 will answer this question. Body paragraph 2 will answer this question. In the conclusion, we'll summarize the main points and we might add some extra comment or something like this. What should the introduction look like? Well, we should have some background information, just like we have background information here. You could paraphrase it. I like original content, so for me it's nicer when candidates give their own background information about this subject. The subject is older people and how they use technology, or older people and the possible benefits of them using technology. So some background information and then some type of thesis statement that addresses these questions. Something like, in this essay, I will outline different advantages or different positive features that could benefit older people if they use this technology, and I will also explain or outline different ways in which we can persuade older people to use such new pieces of technology, something like this, but some type of what we call thesis statement, saying what we're going to talk about in the essay, covering these two questions. But okay. Let's get into the candidate stuff. Let's see what the candidate has. First of all, we'll check the number of paragraphs and the balance just to make sure everything's okay. 1 paragraph, 2, 3, 4. Okay, look, the balance looks okay. Body paragraph 2 perhaps looks a little bit short. Just maybe a little bit short, but okay. In terms of words, well, how many words do we have here? Okay, it looks like maybe 300. 286. Okay, fine. 286, perfect. Right in that golden zone, so no problems about word count. Just anything else that I notice immediately. Notice this space after, space before the comma. I really don't like that space before the comma. Space before the full stop. I just don't like it. Just looks ugly for me. So yeah, don't put spaces before full stops. Don't put spaces before commas. These are, your candidate does it correctly here. These are such small things that if you care about your IELTS score, I don't think you would send me this writing. If you really cared about your IELTS, I don't think you would make such mistakes. To me, it just suggests like, I don't care. I'll just send whatever. But okay, let's not judge. Let's not judge too much. let's check the actual writing. So, in the 21st century, smartphones, you could use smartphones as one word. I think it's okay to use it as two. Google wants you to change it to one word, but I think it's okay as two. Smartphones and the internet services and internet services. So when we talk about internet as an adjective, internet services, we usually drop that there. Well, depends on the noun. Smartphones and internet services, okay, are one of the significant privilege. Okay, again, we're running into problems with cohesion already here. One of the significant privilege. So why not just a significant privilege or a, and what does it mean, privilege? I don't know. Smartphones and the internet services, I guess it is a privilege. Yeah, I guess it is a privilege. One of the most significant privileges, perhaps, or significant privileges. I don't know what this one of the is doing here. Really don't know what this one of the is doing. For all age of people, for all age, for people of all ages, perhaps, for people of all ages. This is really confusing. For all age of people, for people of all ages around the world. However, it seems to older people could not get used to it. Yeah, that's just breaking down. It seems to older people could not get used to it. So this is very problematic grammar. I can kind of make sense of it if I really try, but there's so much wrong with this. So seems to is followed by a verb. If you want to use a new, if you want to use seems plus a new clause, we should use that. It seems that older people, why could not in the past, can't. And then again, get used to it. It's not about getting used to it. It's about using it. It's not that they tried, but they couldn't get used to it. So, yeah, candidate doesn't really understand how this used to works. Candidate doesn't really understand how seems works. And I always think that, if you're a candidate and you don't know how seems works, there are a few different patterns with seems, or this problematic bit of grammar, get used to something. If you don't know how this grammar works, don't use it. You are taking unnecessary risks here. Okay. There are a great number of benefits for older age group of utilizing modern devices. So, for older age group of utilizing modern devices, nope, not English, sorry. Keep your ideas simple. Older people can receive a number of benefits when they use the internet, right? That's just much simpler language. Just use clauses, subject, verb. Older people, subject, can receive, verb group, a number of benefits when, conjunction, new clause, they, subject, use, verb, the internet, object. Subject, verb, object. Your language level isn't good enough for these complex clauses, these complex bits of grammar. You just don't have that, and it leads to confusion. For older age group of utilizing modern devices, nah, it just doesn't work. And the internet and measures can be implanted. I don't know what it means to implant a measure. I think you mean implemented. Measures can be implemented or implanted to encourage them, older people, I guess, to be able to obtain this update technology. Again, why update technology? Candidate is really trying hard to use complex language, and it is really killing the candidate's writing. The candidate must simplify the language because this paragraph, this opening paragraph, is just weak. And I'm sorry to say that the candidate's English is probably okay. But the candidate is in test mode, and the candidate is trying to use all types of stuff. Get used to, obtain, implant, but the candidate just doesn't know how to use this language correctly. So this introduction doesn't really, we don't see, it's not explicitly stated what the candidate will speak about in this essay. The candidate does mention the 2 points here, but just make it simpler, make it more obvious. In this essay, I will discuss. A nice, simple thesis statement. But okay. Let's get into the bodies. So, body paragraph 1, we should now get some benefits. I think 2 benefits are fine here of older adults using mobile phones and the internet. Maybe 1 benefit for mobile phone, 1 benefit for internet. We don't have a lot of words. I think that might be okay. Nowadays, there are numerous positive amenities. So this stuff we don't need. We don't need you to give the background information, the general. There are numerous positive amenities. You've already said that there are a great number of benefits. So we want to jump in. One benefit of using mobile phones for older people is da 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 da. We don't need this background information now again. There are numerous positive amenities. Again, candidates' awareness of synonymy, like the difference between advantages and benefits, which are synonyms, and then amenities, positive amenities. That's not the same thing. Nowadays, there are numerous positive amenities to use this smartphones. This is singular, smartphones is plural, so we can't use this smartphones. And the internet for the older adult. So again, this topic sentence, it's not saying anything. Firstly, it can be seen that older people tend to forget many things. We need a comma here, which is really crucial for them to do, comma, such as taking, so this is wrong, such as taking medicine or participating in a important, should be unimportant, meeting. For this, they may set an alarm on their phone for this specific tasks. Again, we get this singular with tasks plural. So all kinds of language problems here. And the candidate explains the problem and then talks about the advantage. But I think the logical order is to say, firstly, older people could benefit from using the alarm feature on smartphones, and then explain why. That would be logical, rather than explaining why it's useful or explaining what the problem is and what the solution to that problem could be. Looks a little bit illogical. Anyway, secondly, finding a place could be easy for older adults. I don't know what that means. Finding a place could be easy for older adults. If they would have used, we don't usually use would in the if clause. If they would have used a smartphone with internet connection, with an internet connection, such as Google Map. Again, make it easier. Older people could also benefit from using Google Maps. If an older person could not aware is an adjective, not a verb, and after could not, we need a verb. Could not aware of a certain location, I don't know why older person is male necessarily, he could easily find out the place by using Google Maps. Okay, there's one idea that's kind of clear, but again, not logically presented for me. Better idea is to explain another thing older people could benefit from is Google Maps or Maps applications. Okay. So now body paragraph 2, how can we encourage older people to use this technology? It is possible to take steps to encourage older age group. Don't like this older age group. Older age group of using smart devices and the internet. Mobile users should show them how to use mobile phones and the internet in their daily lives, I guess. To make a better livelihood. This is empty. To make a better livelihood doesn't make any sense. It's empty. It's not explained. What older people love to watch, What older people love to watch, people should provide them by searching it online. Again, make your language easier. People should show older people how to search online for the things that they love to watch, right? That would make sense grammatically. This, we have an attempt at a cleft sentence. what older people love to watch, people should provide them by searching it online. Very difficult to understand what you mean here. If older adults are getting attached is a little bit informal here, but okay. Getting attached with something interesting on their phones, they will gradually learn and use these devices. Okay, there's kind of a main idea here. There's only really one idea. Mobile users should show them. Okay, kind of makes sense. Language is problematic. In conclusion, there are clear advantages why older people should use mobile phones and the internet. By displaying the positive impacts of modern technology, it could be possible to encourage the older adults. Okay, so there's a kind of a very, very brief summary. The conclusion isn't awful. I still think you should include your main points. You should have a summary of your main points. You do have a summary of this, but you don't have the summary of the advantages. You don't repeat what those advantages are in the conclusion, and that's a little bit of a problem. But we have bigger problems than the conclusion. Task response. So, what can I say about this? I am partially informed, right? I know I can kind of, if I strip away the language, I can kind of make sense that the candidate thinks that older adults can benefit from using the alarm clock to help them to know when to have an important meeting or to take their medication, and also that they could use Google Maps to find a place. Cool. Find a place, not really sure what type of place they're talking about, but okay. And also we can encourage them by showing them, if other people show them this technology, this can encourage them, especially if they show them things that they love to watch. Cool. So I am, on the whole, informed. Task response, I can say 6 for task response because I am informed. I do get, the main parts are addressed. This question is answered. This question is answered. I don't think the introduction is particularly strong, and I don't think the conclusion is particularly strong, but I am, on the whole, generally informed with the responses to these questions. So probably I can award a 6. Coherence and cohesion, I'm going to award the 5 for this. Okay, firstly, good that we have the correct paragraph structure. We have an attempt at an introduction. We have answer to question 1, answer to question 2, and a conclusion. Paragraphing, great, the strongest part of your cohesion. What I don't like is that I have to read so many different things over and over again. I also don't think that the ideas are logically presented. I think explaining, they are often late for meetings and they I also don't like the fact that you start the paragraph with, again, very general language. So I just don't think that your ideas are presented in a logical way. You get the score for task achievement, for task response, because I understand your ideas, but the way that it's presented, for me, isn't very logical. Again, you have topic sentence here. It is possible to take steps to encourage. We know this. What I'm hoping for in the topic sentence is that you mention one of those steps. One way that we can encourage older people to use such devices is to So you have to front that important information and then spend the rest of the time developing it. You seem to have development first and then the main idea after, which is just a bit strange, but okay. Lexical resource, I'm going to give 5 for this too. So while you do have some decent bits of language, you take too many risks and you just get things wrong, like aware is the wrong word here. Implant measures is just wrong. For older age group, don't really know what that is. For all age of people instead of people of all ages. Daily life instead of daily lives. Okay, fine. To make a better livelihood is just, it's okay. Livelihood is good, but there's no real explanation of what you mean, why this is added. It's not particularly clear. getting attached is a little bit informal. So for me, I'm going to give lexical resource 5 just because I feel like it's too obvious that you are trying to use difficult language like positive amenities, but you don't have control over it. You don't really know what positive amenities means, I guess. You're just trying to use it and hoping that that will get you good scores to obtain, I don't know what it means to be able to obtain this update technology. I just simplify your vocab. Um, yeah, and same thing with grammatical accuracy. 5. Grammatical accuracy 5. Just mistakes in almost every sentence. There's a mistake. There are mistakes with punctuation frequently. Um, there are examiners that might give 6 for lexical resource here, perhaps. Grammar is worse than lexical resource for sure, but I don't think the grammar is bad enough for a 4, probably. This sentence, this is an attempt at a complex bit of grammar, but it doesn't quite work. Important instead of unimportant. This tasks, that happens a couple of times. Try to use some type of complex conditional here if they would have used a smartphone, but you don't have control over that stuff. With the basic grammar, you do have reasonably good control, but for me, the number of errors, I think if you just used simple grammar with just 1 or 2 bits of maybe slightly complex grammar, you probably get a 6 for grammar. But because there are so many attempts at difficult pieces of grammar, so many attempts at those, and all of them break down and don't work, that lowers your score for me for a 5. So overall, this score gets a 5.0. Candidates level, so this results in B1. I think the candidate is definitely good enough for a B2, but they have to learn. The one bit of advice I would give to this candidate is simplify your sentence structures. Always be thinking about subject, verb, object, subject, verb, object, subject, verb, object. Don't take so many risks with lexical resource. If you think, if you're not sure if positive amenities is the right word, don't use it. If you're not sure that get used to is the right word, don't use it. Don't take so many risks. There is something in the criteria about how we should, reward risk takers. But in general, it's better to use something simple and correct than it is to use something super complex but totally incorrect. So simplify your lexical resource. Don't try to use unnecessarily complicated words. Simplify your grammar. Use normal clauses with conjunctions. I mentioned that sentence earlier. There are a great number of benefits for older age group of utilizing modern devices in the internet. So older people can receive a lot of benefits when they use the internet. So much easier, so much clearer. There are huge problems with cohesion, really just understanding, sorry, not cohesion, with coherence, just understanding what you're trying to say. A reader would have to reread many parts of this to understand what you're trying to say. Examiners are usually paid by the number of essays that they check, and they do not spend a lot of time reading it. An examiner will not do what I'm doing. An examiner will not read and reread and reread to try to make sense. They are paid per script, per essay that they check. Probably they'll spend about a minute on it. I don't know exactly how long an examiner would spend on it, but with the exams that I examine for, we don't spend a lot of time reading the stuff. We read it once through quickly and award the mark. So if you have problems with coherence, an examiner will just, give you low score for it. But anyway. Enough about this. For me, overall 5.0 B1. I think that is a fair reflection of this candidate's writing. So, of course, let me know what you think in the comments. If you think that any of my scoring is incorrect, please do let me know. If you'd like your own free writing check with feedback, or your own free speaking test with feedback, then you can request this in my Telegram channel. A link to this Telegram channel is given below. I'll be back with a lot more videos coming soon, but for now, bye bye.